flame's not hot at all. And we're going to, I'm gonna cut it in half this way. And you can see it does not take much effort. And you can see it's probably cooked about halfway in, but I want to use the oven for some of the roasting because that's where some of the flavor's at. So I'm gonna come here and kind of pour the extra virgin olive oil on the flesh part. Okay, and put a little more here because we want to roast it. Maybe a little bit too much. Okay, and then we're going to put it in the oven at 400 degrees for at least 45 minutes to another 30 minutes. But I think I've got a good head start because I put it in the Instapot to cook it for a little bit. And the higher temperature of 400 is going to let it roast more and really develop some flavors. So I'll be back when it's ready, and when it's fork tender in the oven, that's when you know it's ready. Oh, checking on the pumpkin. I think it's ready. She's a fork. This has just been 30 minutes at a 400 degree oven. Oh yeah. And you see the caramelization that's happened at the bottom of the pumpkin where it's touching the tin foil, and the coloration of the skin. That's going to be a wonderfully roasted pie pumpkin. It's going to make an awesome pumpkin pie or pumpkin delight or whatever we decide to make. Just took it out of the oven and it is still bubbling a little bit. It's hot, so I'm going to let it cool, and then as soon as it's cooled, I'll probably let it cool about 30 minutes since I have other things to do. Then we'll scoop out the yummy flesh, and I'm actually going to give it a taste test, comparing it with store-bought pumpkin. So we'll be back in about 30 minutes. Okay, so let's see what this pumpkin looks like. So I've just got a bowl, and I'm going to use a wooden spoon, and look, it's falling apart, which that's what you want it to do. So I'm just going to flip it over, and these seeds in here, we could roast them, and they're actually partially roasted, but we can put them back in the oven with a little bit of olive oil or coconut oil and butter and salt, and we can roast them and make them really crunchy. So maybe we'll do that, but not today. So there's the other one. You see how it's caramelized. You will not get this if you cook it completely in a crock pot or Instapot. I'm all for simpler methods and quicker methods, but you got to do what works and brings up the flavors of pumpkins, because I think that's why a lot of people don't like pumpkin, is because they haven't had it prepared right. Or maybe they're eating the canned pumpkin from the grocery store, and I promise you they did not roast their pumpkin in the oven to let it caramelize. So I'm just going to get the seeds, and then I'm going to scoop out. So let me scrape. Oh, this looks so good. Scrape out. It's very tender. Oh, it looks so good. And that caramelization is really going to help the flavor. Kind of looks like a butternut squash right here. And you can tell the color is nothing like the color that you get in the canned pumpkin. I mean, this really does look like a butternut squash. So I'm going to scrape it out. Okay, I'm going to do both. And then I'll be back once I have both halves scraped out and the flesh in the bowl. Okay, so we're back. So I have scraped the flesh out of the pumpkin that we first started in the Instapot for 10 minutes and then finished it off at a high temperature for 30 minutes, and that roasted and caramelized. But you see the texture is a little stringy, so what me and Connor's going to do, because Connor's my helper today, right Connor? We're going to use our immersion blender and we're going to blend it and make it creamy. You can also put this in a food processor, but we're trying to just make it a smooth consistency like it would be in the can. So we're going to get my old school immersion blender, and Connor's going to help me, so just put your hand and we're going to blend. And all this is doing is just, like I said, it's a little stringy, and the stuff you get in the can, they've already pureed it. Is that fun, Connor? So get your kids in cooking. Trust me, there's going to be accidents or mistakes made, but they got to learn somehow. Oh Oh yeah. So we're gonna make a pumpkin pie out of this maybe next time.
Oh.
And just, it'll also probably should use a little bigger bowl. There you go. There you go.
A bigger bowl.
Okay. So now.
You're gonna really want a bigger bowl.
Yeah. So now we blended it. Okay, and it looks. So I want to bring out the canned pumpkin. I think this is Libby's brand. Okay, so taste test. Remember, none of these have sweeteners, but I could eat that. It would need a smidge bit of sweetness, but this is very pleasant. Okay, so when I taste this, no way. Maybe if you paid me $100, maybe $200, maybe I would eat a cup of it, but it isn't. It's not pleasant to me. But this really is yummy. Even though the color is so different, this looks more like, quote, pumpkin pie. This is real deal pumpkin roasted in the oven, tastes delicious, and it's gonna make a great pumpkin pie. So thank you for watching, and thank you, Connor, for helping me today. And be sure to subscribe to my channel, and more videos coming up. I've got some sweet pickles that I'm actually in the process right now of waiting for them to finish in the refrigerator, and I will be finishing that video. So a lot of things going on, so be sure to subscribe, and happy cooking.
Bye.
Okay, so tell me, what recipe do you want me to make using this yummy homemade roasted pumpkin puree? So this is going to be so much better than store-bought pumpkin, so I don't want to waste it. So let's see, should we do a pumpkin pie or a pumpkin pecan pie? That's been in the back of my mind lately. So tell me down below in the comments after you subscribe, and let me know what recipe you want me to use the pumpkin with. Subscribe to Mama's channel.
Juice from my channel.
Say please.
Please.